Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment you made?
I got from varsity.
Run Ryan.
And everything. You have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
What grade?
That one I don't know.
Yes, because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Welcome everyone. Welcome to All In, All United. JP, it's been a while, bro.
Yeah. Real long. I feel like, hey. Glad to be back, man.
Yeah, man. Nice. Although we entered into the well, I mean, when I say we entered in the festive season, and we know that during this time, men time just be real tie up. And then when the team are really gain you all that kind of encouragement to push through,
Yeah.
you just have to roll as you go, and that's one of the reasons why we had to do a pod the day after, rather than at this point by JP boy, it doesn't make sense fighting up for this team. You understand when them fellas
They're not
it's
fighting.
making it worth your while now, boy.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at Aston Villa on a 10-game win streak. Right now, call me negative, right? Call me negative all you want. But Unai Emery win 10 games straight in a row, playing every week. They're playing midweek. I think it's a Thursday they play, and then they play on weekends.
Yeah.
Right? Amorim here a year in, and we're still struggling to achieve half of our win streak.
Yeah.
You understand? That man convinced some of our fan base that us losing the Europa League final was a blessing in disguise. 17 games in, and horse that disguise working harder than Amorim in. You know what I'm saying? Over the last 6 games, right? And when you look at that fixture, we would have felt we had a chance to get a lot of the points that we would need to at least make some kind of movement upward on the table. And we only leave with 8 of our possible 16 points. 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. And we have Newcastle coming, we have City coming, we have Brighton in the FA Cup coming, and we have Arsenal coming this month, bro. And this month we don't have, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, and Bumo, Ahmad, and now Bruno and Mazwari.
Right? So let the coach, right? Anyway, what you saying, buddy? How things?
I good. Glad to be back on the pod. Me when I hear ranting, I probably dreaming twice early to get early in the morning. But I'm glad to have a little break and to be able to come on the pod today. And listen, as much as this seems frustrating, I still like to come and talk about it for some reason.
No, I mean, it is be a good place to vent now, boy, because sometimes you have all these emotions bottling up. You could end up doing something stupid now. Boy. You understand? So you might as well come in a safe space, where your opinions heard and share it,
Yeah.
But I mean, we want to touch on not only the game, but a lot that going on, at Man United. There's never a dull moment. You will tend to think that we gonna have some period of normalcy, and then Bruno interview come up. Then Kobe brother show up with a jersey, and then it's just one thing after the next. So we have a lot to probably touch on, but we want to start off by looking at the game yesterday. How you feel, how you felt about the game at full time, and were there any positives that you could leave with, feeling that kind of way in spite of the loss, because we didn't win, But would you have left with any kind of positive feeling?
You know, the thing is, I don't know if it's just a matter of I kind of negative towards the team right now, but yes, I saw positive things, but I don't think I could be fooled by the little positives in the grand scheme of things because I feel like Amarim set the bar so low last season that fans wouldn't know to accept when they see, oh, we were the better team against Villa today, but we lose 2-1. And oh, our attack look good. Yeah, we spend money on the attack, it must look good. And I know just talking about them Boomer and Cunha and Sesko. How much money we spend on Mount? Mount should be looking good in the attack too. So yeah, we spend money on our attack, so the attack should be looking good, but we're going to win the midfield. We're going to win the midfield. And our midfield is where is win and lose our game. We didn't put no investment in the midfield, and the midfield continuing to be the problem. And I see people real slagging off Euro. And yes, Euro had to take his licks for not getting tight and for allowing Rogers to cut in so easy and shoot. But where was the double team? Where was the help? Where was the midfielder and back? Where was Dalo? So you can't put all that on Euro and man wanna say I see somebody is Stephen Howson. Headline was Euro cost us the game. You can't put that on Euro alone. That wickedness boy. I find our fans real wicked and not looking. And in the same breath in his video, he talking about the improvements they see. The fact that they was playing a back four and Euro was like the right back. How that making sense having Euro as a right back in your back four and you had Dalo on the field? Like I find like yes, I see Amram try some things in his game, but I'm not impressed with what he trying. And I sorry, so for me, yes, the attack looked okay. There were moments where the attack looked good. But what is the point of that if you play one ball through the middle and you bypass everything in this team? And then you have a one-on-one with a defender, you could cut inside and shoot twice and score 2 goals. What's the point about talking the positives with the attack if that's how the rest of the team played?
Yeah, yeah. Nico on the inside, welcome. I don't know if he
Yeah,
hearing.
good night, good night.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
hearing me?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So we just getting initial thoughts on the game, Nico. So I don't know if you want to jump in and then we will move on with the agenda.
Yeah, yeah. It has something that JP talking about there that really stood out to me yesterday, right? Um, on in our team, we know who the danger man, right? We know, like we say, if it's Cunha, we know if it's Embuemo, we know if it's is Ahmad, right? And what all other teams do when these players have the ball, you see two and
Mm-hmm.
three
Mm-hmm.
players around them. So Villa going into this game with Rogers and right. We went into that game knowing that the only I mean the main threat to Villa is Rogers. And how it is that we didn't have a plan that when Rogers had the ball to double team on Rogers. Or was that our plan, but is it that Dalo forget that he's supposed to help to double up on Rogers? Because Ahmad and Embuemo and Cunha not getting enough space. We're just getting to do what he do. And our team with quality players, players who understand the game at a higher level, and back to me that is criminal. I break up at any point because I seen my screen loading.
Yeah, delaying, but you're coming through. We gain what you're
point.
saying. Yeah, we gain
Yeah.
the point. You're just delaying a little bit, but we gain the point.
Yeah. And to me, that was the most disappointing thing. That was most disappointing because our top players not getting that type of time and space. Not, and I want to know how other teams could you know what I mean? I don't know if it's Amarin tactics in not allowing our players to be afforded to be one-on-one with players because what I can see, you have Ahmad and Buemo one-on-one on players and we can cause trouble. But that don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That don't happen. And that to me that was the most
Yeah,
disappointing thing in that game
yeah,
yesterday. So
yeah.
Rogers to do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
To me, I find overall we were the better team, right? And for Dallo to be so lackluster and so careless and so lazy, right? To challenge before that ball crossing for Rogers to score a second goal. That was criminal too. And then Dallo gonna start because but so I think I saw some positives in the performances, I must say. I find we did well. I find the team looked good. But again, and going back to JP say, it can't be the same thing. One ball cutting through the whole middle of the field. We can't, that to me, and it happening too regular. And we are unable to fix that. Yeah?
Yep. Yeah, good points, fellas. You see, my take on it is this, we were playing well in terms of that high press. But to maintain that level of intensity and press for 90 plus minutes, that's real hard. And with all the training and with all the fitness work, I'm not sure that we even dare. Show me where a team could press at a high level of intensity for a full game. Because what is tends to happen is anytime we lose that level of intensity or that level of high press where we that energy, once that energy get burned out, we are a easy team to play.
Yeah.
Because we can't possess the
to
ball.
be honest,
No,
I find yesterday we did well for almost in the entire game.
nah, no.
You didn't find so?
All right,
I
so
find we held our own. I find we held our own. Maybe
so
because again
here what I see, right? I see a manager, and I'm talking about Unai Emery, who came out with a plan.
what
Sit
plan?
back.
If
Hold
it is
on.
Rogers,
Hold
if
on.
we didn't give
Hold
Rogers
on.
our list that chance, and plus we missed chance.
Yeah, okay. All right. So
go ahead, let's see.
yeah, but
go ahead.
they obviously we have quality. We talk about the quality that we have in our team, right? So okay, so if we press in, we will cause problems. I'm not saying no, but what I'm saying, you could have seen throughout the game where Rogers was peeling, right? Where Telemans was, what Ollie Watkins was doing to come in to pull one of the defenders out so that Rogers could isolate a defender. You were seeing that there's a game plan, Nico. I know VAPs. That was part of the plan. Every time Watkins come, he pulling heaven inside so that Rogers could isolate a defender because they know they were playing with 3 centre backs.
Yeah.
You see how high Dallo was playing? That was, come on, earlier. We watched football long enough to know that they were absorbing pressure. All right, pressure is bust pipe. So obviously they will concede chances. They will concede good chances. And if we were clinical, we were supposed to take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. But I am telling you that Unai Emery went in with a game plan. It was clear. Mm-hmm. And because, as you as well, Nico, alluded to it, and JP mentioned it before, why it is we ignored the threat of Morgan Rogers. Why were we so insistent on going forward that we ignoring that is two inexperienced defenders?
Yeah.
And Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I am telling you, after that high press, we were being played through so easily, and this guy Morgan Rogers has seen, he has a space. I see it at times when even Ollie Watkins gets some time and space on the ball. But I think Heaven dealt well with him. So for me, that outside of that high press where I think Dogu did well to win back that ball, I'm not seeing where we could sustain and maintain that level for a full game. And that is my problem, because we're trying to force errors, right? We're trying to force errors. And we're not showing that we're clinical when we're on top. And for me, that is a big concern, because we will concede goals. We have mistakes. And
that's the problem.
I made mention in the last pod, because Christian was talking about the defense. And I'm saying, listen, we have to outscore teams.
Yeah.
We can't afford to win no 1-0 game here, you know?
Nah, that's it happening. That's it happening. That's it happening.
But we talking about Euro. And Euro really gained it, right? And fair play. Look, Chef on the inside as well, man. Good night. He's saying Euro was abject failure. My gosh. But I want to be fair, and we touched on it, so I just want to delve a little more into it earlier. How much blame Euro should really take for them 2 goals conceded? Because I'll be honest with you, the first goal Roger scored, that was
we know but Rim, when Rogers cut inside, everybody knows he went to look to cut inside.
Yeah.
And to me, as a player, but Rogers is on number 10. You really feel Rogers want to go down the line to cross any ball? He don't want to do that. So you had to know, as a defender, that Rogers looking to cut inside. And even when Rogers pick up that ball, in my mind, instinctively, I say Rogers going to cut inside. So I think, well, Euro would have, Euro would have picked it up as, he looking to cut inside and make it a little more difficult for him. So I was surprised how much space and how long Euro took to react to
it was easy.
Inside. To me,
it
that was
easy.
disappointing.
Yeah,
you could have read it. You could have read it. And to me, Euro could have done better on that one.
But it's something I noticed. It's something I noticed with Manchester United defending. When Rogers was picking up the ball on the line, our defenders just pull back and wait for the attacker to settle on the football.
Yeah, why? And
why?
That what means second goal. That means second goal.
Nobody. But the first one I'm talking about, when Rogers gets out on the line, Euro could have clear him off the line.
Yeah, both of them.
But Euro stand up and wait for Rogers to turn, control the ball, position himself to run at him.
Yeah. And then Rogers had to fight to even win that ball to keep it in. So if it's a part of left foot, right, does that make it harder for you for Rogers?
But to the point, right? How much responsibility, JP, as far as you're concerned, and blame Euro had to take, and where you seeing, where other factors didn't help him?
I would give him 70%. 70%, because he as a defender, and I think a defender we know very talented. We see what Euro could do, but he going through a little rough patch right now. So I given him 70%, but I think a player like Rogers, you cannot leave one-on-one. You cannot give a player like that in that kind of form the freedom to run at one. That's like the season when Rashid scored 30-something goals. If you think any team was giving Rashid that kind of space to cut inside and shoot like that, he was fighting and making his space and scoring them goals. They wasn't making it easy for him. We make it real easy for man and formula. Like when men in form, that mentality just be different. They could do anything. They feel they could do anything. So giving him the opportunity to run at a young defender too. So we remember this. You're still a young defender. Giving him the opportunity is like, all right, cool. Or they give me this chance. I can do anything right now. So he just cut in easy on him and he shoots. But Euro have to be tighter. Euro have to be better in those situations. So I give him 70% for the 2 goals. Other than that, the team setup wasn't suited to a player like that.
Yeah. So earlier, I know, we've been, you know, starved of a top goalkeeper over the last 2 to 3 years. We had to sit and see ball run through man leg, man push the ball in the goal, all kind of stupidness with Andrew Nana. Right? So I know people will be real careful with how they're treating with Lamens. But earlier, I know the first goal was a tough one. But I find Lamens getting string up too too easy. Nico, what's your thoughts on Lamens so far? And I mean, I know in plenty instances it's good goals and it's probably not much he could do. But I see in the basics being done really well by the keeper. But I get in the feeling where he lacking that kind of X factor in goal first. It has some chances I've seen where I thinking personally from me, I thinking he could do better. Now there's not me saying throw him out, he's rubbish. There's no us saying I ain't reached there with he yet. Right? But I just feeling that I'm not seeing where he wowing men and he's saying, wait, but this man proper. I see little signs where this man proper. I find he getting string too easy. I don't know where's your thoughts on Laman so far. All right, I think Nico probably yeah. So JP, I don't know if you want to jump in on this until Nico come back.
Yeah, I would say there, because I can't think of any save that he make, and I hold my head and say, wait, how he pull out that one, boy.
Nice.
I can't think of
Sorry.
any save that he doing the basics right. So he have the fundamentals down as a goalkeeper. But to say, see, like I did here, save here, time say I did here, save come out here. To say even the second goal, to say he got a little touch on itself and it was close to pushing nothing. Like he get nothing on it now. So I hope it's a matter of, over time you'll start to see the brilliance come out. Is either that or he's just like a basics keeper who could
Nice.
have you comfortable, but he might have to be a stepping stone keeper if he not producing the brilliance. I feel he will not be a stepping stone keeper.
Yeah. Nico, you on the inside?
Yeah. I'm back inside. Don't solely hearing me.
Yeah.
Go through, huh?
Yeah. On Lamens, I like him honestly. Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bournemouth game definitely would have lost the Bournemouth game. It wasn't for him. I think the goals against Bournemouth was quality finishes. From Bournemouth. I think most of the chances was quality taking chances by Bournemouth. In terms of the Villa chances, I think they were also quality chances. I think they were also quality chances that as much as we might want our keeper to save us, I think they were brilliant finishes. I don't think he could have done much with those chances. The one with Bournemouth, the free kick, he could have done better. He hop. I know Onana used to hit with that hop. He hit with that kind of hop with that chance in the Bournemouth game. Other than that goal, I think Bournemouth Lamens has been real solid. I think it's just unfortunate that he's been exposed by the lack of support, especially for me from the midfield and also the inexperience in the defense. I think the inexperience in the defense exposing Lamens, right? I think in the game as well against Villa, he made some good saves. I think it was against Ollie Watkins. He made a good save. I think it had a McGinn save that he saved well as also. I think he was good. And I honestly not putting any of the goals against Bournemouth on Lamens at all. But definitely for me, he has been a breath of fresh air.
No, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we blaming Lamens. It's just at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
level, with the kind of goals that we conceding, sometimes you just look for your goalkeeper to come out a little big for you, you know. It was good
yeah.
strikes and
So
taking nothing away
which one you
from
find? Say
the
yeah,
second
yeah.
one. The second one.
The second one,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it was quality strikes. Sorry. I think it was similar to, let me say, similar to Martinez for Aston Villa, right? If, let me say, if that goal is scored on Lamens, we possibly may have said that he could have done better, because because to me, Martinez that we know could have normally would have saved that, but again, it was a quality strike. So sometimes, it's like a quality strike, quality. I mean, give
But 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 the thing about it is my opinion is not only from Villa. I are watching some games sometime now,
yeah. But I
and I
find
just
even the Bournemouth game, I find them strikes was off the post and all kind of thing. You know what I mean? Two strikes from Bournemouth was off the post. It's just the one free kick that I think he could have done better. But I'm not saying he do have mistakes in him, but overall, I think the problem for Lamens is the defense, because what's happening, and again I go back to the midfield. The more goals conceded, they're not gonna start affecting confidence, right? And every single game we concede a goal, so every time we concede a goal, it's affecting the goalkeeper's confidence. And to me, that is where the keeper is not getting protection. He needs a bit more protection, because when you're watching a Arsenal game or a City game, how much saves that these keepers had to make a game? How much one-on-one you seeing with these keepers? Hardly in a game. How much Lamens had how much saves Lamens had to make? How much have you seen one-on-one? So to me, confidence will take a hit because he conceding a lot of goals. Because we scored, I think, the second most goals in the league so far.
Yeah.
But we maybe consider the most goals in the league so far. So when you think about that alone, the confidence of the keeper will take a hit at some point, because we conceding too much, and he don't have confidence in his defense.
all right. Welcome, Phil. I will get in. Let me just go through the comments here, and I will get in on this Lamens talk. Right, and my opinion mightn't be popular, but sometimes on certain things I tend to be a little ahead of the curve. Now we can call Dogu bluff long time and watch what's going on. But there's no me.
Dogu game wasn't bad against Villa, eh? I must say.
Yeah, but I know what you know. One game out of 100.
Dogu had a decent game.
Dogu,
the levels he was at.
Dogu ain't convincing me with that one game, right? Let me just get some comments real quick. Chef on the inside, Chef saying here, nah, you have to take blame. Don't do me. Chef, why don't come on the pod? That's what I typed in. I know Chef busy, right? So don't do me that. And the second one again, he was late and very naive in his defending, and Dalo didn't help at all. We all know what Rogers going to do. So yeah, so you wonder if they don't study the players. All right. King on really pretty inside. Good night, man. Saying Euro was to rush Rogers since he saved the ball on the line. Right? He was supposed to be up on him. Correct. Chef saying, yeah, he must get strung up done. The defending is basically sending the man to the wolves. I have absolutely no problem with Lamens. Really, you need to take that feeling and go with it. Nigel on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying he can and will do better. But just like Euro, we had to be patient with him when we talk about Lamens, right? Eric on the inside, the night, man, he's saying string up is a bit harsh, man. Lamens saved us against Bournemouth. All right. Again, it's a popular opinion, guys, but all right. We can have conversations again. And there's not me going in on the player, just saying, all I'm saying is I'm not seeing the wow factor from him. I think JP say he very solid with the basics, the fundamentals, but it's just that little extra oomph
Yeah.
I ain't see it yet. I ain't see it coming, but I ain't seen it yet, right? Chef saying here, bro, Lamen's been saving we and keeping we in games. What more you want, Dan?
Yep. But we can't expect that every game. We can't
I'm
expect
not
that every
saying,
game.
I'm not saying
Every
that.
game. Every game that man got to pull out because of that because the Bournemouth game is saved we. That Bournemouth game is saved us from losing. So to me that was
but
a wow.
you see the thing. I still don't think I see a wow in that. I think I will give him credit for his saves, but there's still
Yeah.
saves that you want to keep on making at that level. But I
Unana
think
Bandit that was scoring. Unana and Bandit that was
By and
scoring.
then, the bar drop real load by and then,
Yeah, them
Nico.
fellas can't be the yardstick. Them can't be the yardstick. When you're thinking about United keepers, you're thinking about the here and the Sa, them kind of fellas as he names Michael. So I think I get where Reem coming from in terms of those fellas had something a little extra that they would see. And yes, we could wait and see if it would come, but they're just not seen it yet. And
First
I think
season
it's just
league.
a little. You know, they here used to when I think they here big thing was the saves with his legs, and it was just something where we do that, but you didn't even think he could have pulled off that save at that point in time. What Lamen's doing is what he's supposed to do, and he doing it right. But I think I didn't see, and this is not a negative or a criticism on him. It's just that it's not something you see yet in terms of. Like he have that little extra in him where he could pull out something like how we do that way. Like even the Rogers shot, is a man might get something on that and save it or not.
Yeah, possibly.
That's how the hair was in his prime.
In his prime. I like that. I like what you say. In his
Right,
prime.
so that was it could be
In his
coming.
prime. In his
But
prime.
because they had a rough
First
start.
season, first few
Yeah,
months in
rough
the league,
start.
first new country, and after
Yeah.
that, and the defense just exposing him on every game.
Yeah.
I think we had to come back to this when we started defend properly
Properly, yeah.
because
All right.
it's the man getting too exposed by.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But I just want to underline something that JP mentioned. Anytime we start to measure how good Lamens is by referring to Onana and Bayande, we're heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's what I'm saying,
And
right?
then when we start to compare Lamens over 3 months, I think we've been very harsh.
All right, no fear.
So we need a younger lad's yardstick to measure Lamens.
No problem. But as I always say earlier, right? I always say that's certain things that I just see early now, and I just act, right? I just asking, right? There's not. I like Lamens, right? But the barrel low, right? The barrel low. Them fellas hurt me, right?
Yeah.
And by them fellas hurt me. Let me just get the comments because I want to get Phil on the inside, right? Chef's in here, well, Reem, then if we using your reasoning at this level, we need to expect more from Euro. Not give him an out saying he's a young defender. All right. I mean, yeah. And if I had to criticize something that Euro do, I will do it. Right? Chef's in here for once he actually had a decent game, right? And well, yeah, bro, I know you're working. Right? Saying if I feel you really need pork in your life, you get an edgy thing. From early we saw Onana was crap, and it improved. Yeah, so Phil, no pressure. We know it's a sensitive topic. Man, go jump on your back if you come down heavy on Lamens, because the man only here 3 months, you know. But what's your thoughts on Lamens so far?
Yeah. Good night. Season's greetings. Happy holidays.
Yeah, man.
Now, obviously, you mentioned with regards to using Onana as a yardstick, right? And I agree to disagree, right? Because as the saying goes, you never know what you have until it's gone, right? And obviously, everybody in Manchester United land can agree that Lamens is an upgrade to Onana. There's no if and buts or maybes about that, right? Lamens is not immune to criticism, but Lamens definitely is doing the basics, right? And we have been asking for a keeper just to do the basics, right? And that's what Lamens is doing right now. Now, obviously, there's no wow factor like how De Gea was a wow factor, Van der Sar, Schmeichel back in the day, right? But the guy's only 23 years old, right? I'm willing to give him a couple of years because that's the one position that gets better with age, right? So I'm willing to give Lamens a few more years, right? But in terms of the goals that scored, I hear some people say they're blaming Lamens on it, right? I think the second goal, in my opinion, is three people that are at fault: Dalot, Euro, and Ugarte, right? Now, the last two names shouldn't have been mentioned if Dalot was to stop the cross from coming in, right? Now, the cross already come in, right? Now, I think it's up to Ugarte to help shut down Morgan Rogers with Euro, right? But Euro has to take a little bit of blame because it's almost like for the two goals that scored, Euro was being like an escort service, right? He just escorting the guy to the goal, right? Do something physical, nudge him, throw him off balance, right? Try something. Don't put in a tackle because a tackle is a risk, right? But do something physical to throw him off or to make him change his mind, right? But even going back to Lamens, right? There's a fine line between satisfied and he could do more. I'm in that line there, right? There's no negativity from my aspect when it comes to Lamens, right? But I definitely am looking forward to see what he can do for United as well, right? So, but you said, Reem, that you're not wowed by Lamens as of yet, per se.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fair. Don't forget David De Gea in his first season was absolute crap.
Yeah.
Right? And then lo and behold, a season or two later, he's starting for Spain. Let's put it that way. Right? So let's give Lamens some time. But yeah, that's what I have to say for now on the Lamens topic. And I don't know if you guys have discussed other topics, but there's other stuff definitely I think that's more pressing than Lamens to discuss, right? So
yeah. Cool. So it had this comment I pull up on X, right? And I just want to know, what Phil and because in parts JP and Nico would have kind of touch on it. I will let you start off this one on a response to this one, right? So I was reading this comment on X, and the person said, we lost 2-1 to the most informed team in the league at their home, while missing 7 of our starting players. That is not a disaster like some people are projecting it to be. So, where's your thoughts on that statement? In agreement, you do agree, you see it differently, because some people, responding, in the negative to the fact that we lost. But what this comment is saying is that, hey, this is the most informed team in the league right now. We're missing so much players. A 2-1 loss is not the end of the world.
It's one of those situations where you're not happy with the result, but I'm not upset at the performance, if that makes sense, right? There's some players that were in the starting 11 that can hold their head high. There's some players that came on that also did a job as well. And we had our chances, right? I mean, the one time Dorgu finally gets it into the box, the man puts it on a plate for Cunha and, goes wide. The Benjamin Sesko chance where Emi Martinez comes up big. I think if Sesko's confidence was a bit higher, I think Sesko would have maybe scored that, or at least make a save, at least make Emi Martinez think different, right? So this was one time I wasn't too upset with the team, right? I think the most improved player from the Bournemouth performance was Aiden Heaven, because Aiden Heaven definitely during the 4-4 was accountable for some of the goals, right? But Aiden Heaven definitely put on a really good performance today. I mean, yesterday. Lissandro Martinez, we gotta talk about him, and let Lissandro Martinez play midfield from now to whenever. Let him play midfield. Composure, IQ is up there. Not making any rash decisions, winning the ball from midfield. And there were times we had Aston Villa on the back foot, at home, right? So it's another loss. This is almost similar to the Arsenal loss, where you played well, but it's not the result you wanted. It's almost similar to the Arsenal loss. Not totally up there, but you can see comparisons, right? There's nothing to rant about when it came to that result or that performance. There have been other games where we've been all on the pod, where we've been cursing men. But on Sunday, it was like, okay, the loss, but the team showed a little bit of fight, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. JP, you want to jump in?
Yeah. So the person talk about we didn't have 7 starters, right? 3 of those starters we knew wouldn't be with the team for quite some time now. What did the manager do to prepare the team for that taking place? Absolutely nothing. So at least 3 of those 7 players is not an excuse to use against playing against an informed team, because the manager did nothing to prepare the team for their absence. And again, yes, the performance, people would say was a good performance, but by what standard? By last season standards, which were kind of down in the toilets. Because let me be real earlier, right? Let me be real. This team not doing much different from what it was doing last season, because Aston Villa would be considered a big team in this team's eyes now. And what do we do when we play against these teams? We turn up, we play better football. But when it comes to the games that we're supposed to win, the Evertons, we not win those games. We let Everton beat us. So to me, it kind of difficult trying to find things positive when we lose games with a quote-unquote good performance, because it's not different from what I was seeing before. I feel like I see the same pattern where we turning up for the big teams. Aston Villa is a big team right now, a team in form, and they have so I think what make it worse is when you say we played better, but then look at the 2 goals that win the game. Again, simple football beating Manchester United. So the performance really matter in the grand scheme of things. Because if we still giving up easy chances, if the midfield still porous, then what problem we really solve? If we knew we were going to be missing 3 of our main players, and we didn't do anything to prepare the team for that, then what problems we really solving? We're not solving any problems. With fans just being hit with a smoke screen because last season was so terrible. And I think that's the whole thing in it. Amram, they break this team down so low to the ground last season. We were so terrible and not expecting to win anything. That the slightest semblance of a performance now does make people say, seen improvement here. Okay, I seen what I'm trying to do here. But we really seen that earlier. Like, I don't know. We really seen what I'm trying to do with this team. We really seeing a product being like formed here that could take us back to the top. Because I not seeing it. And I don't care who say what is my opinion. That's how I see me football. I not seeing football I could take us to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because like I think we called it on the podcast maybe a month or two ago, where it's Amren's 1 year anniversary, and we still can't tell what sort of football Ruben
Yeah.
Amren trying to play with his team. Because at the end of the day, you can accept. So this is what I was trying to get at, JP. You can accept a team playing well in a couple of games where you can see some sort of like pattern of play, right?
Mm.
But there's been no pattern of play. You know, one thing that struck me many years ago, where a team that is so good, you can tell what kind of goal they're going to score, right?
Yes.
They can either lay off to the explosive right winger who could cut in on his left foot and score, or they could do they do a couple of 1-2s, and you can't see that with Manchester United. You can't, because at the end of the day, Ruben Amorim, he's articulate. Let's put it that way, right? You know, he knows how to hold a press conference, right? And you gotta wonder what goes on in training, right? But I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I kind of mentioned this to Reem, and I mentioned this to quite a few other Manchester United fans. I, Big Phil, don't care what goes on in training. I care what goes on from minute 1 to minute 90. Whatever they do in training, good for them. But whatever happens from minute 1 to minute 90 is what I care about, right? People don't pay their money to watch Man United in training. People don't get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, turn on the TV, go on the couch to watch Man United in training. You watch from minute 1, from the time that whistle blow to the last whistle in the 90th minute plus stoppage time is what we as fans care about, right? So, JP, we got 3 years with this. We got 3 years with Amorim. 3 years. So, let's see. I have zero faith. You have zero faith. I don't know how Nico is, but over to you, Nico, I guess.
Yeah, no, you see, for me, and my blame on Amarin will always be around not not strengthening our midfield in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because simple as Phil saying, what when Martinez came into that midfield, how calm, a calming presence the team was. The team was calm. To me, you saw a bit more structure in the team with Martinez on the pitch. And I'm saying, and Martinez is not a central midfielder. Martinez is a centre back. So imagine you got a quality midfielder with that with that Martinez composure, which will be even higher. Right? The quality to play a pass forward, to pick a pass forward, which Martinez did on multiple occasions. Through the lines.
And it's smart passes. You know, Nico, they're not over the top. They're on the ground. On the ground.
Through the lines, picking passes with intelligence. And he's a central defender. So imagine we got midfielders of that quality, which would, because that is their bread and butter, would even be better. This team could have been better because we have the tools to the front. We see we have the tools. But to me, our problem is in midfield. And to me, that is where even the defense is being exposed. So if I am to be very critical about Amarin, is not strengthening the midfield of our team. And so I just saying, if it is that we are to go out, maybe January or even this summer, we should see this summer really strengthen our midfield. It might have something we could look at and say, boy, this team playing good. But until then we are unconvinced. We're totally unconvinced of what we're seeing.
Just to add something to what Nico said, right? I don't want to say I get cursed, but I get called negative for this here, right? By quite a few Man United fans, where he said, because obviously, I don't know if Reem talk about it or if Reem is going to talk about it, but obviously Antoine Semenyo is linked to both Manchester clubs. I retweeted, as a Manchester United fan, I hope he goes to Manchester City. And everybody not everybody, most people come from me talking about how you could be a Manchester United fan and you want Semenyo to go to Man City. And they asked me one question: Is Antoine Semenyo a player we need right now? One guy even messaged me on Instagram, was like, well, like with all these players at African Cup of Nations, I said, but what nationality is Semenyo? And now I get in the crickets, right? Just to echo what Nico said, the midfield is the engine room of every successful team. And that's one thing we're lacking right now. And that's the reason why I am not for, let's say, Antoine Semenyo coming to Manchester United, because that 65 million can be spent on a midfield, right? I see him being linked with Conor Gallagher and Ruben Neves from in Saudi Arabia. I mean, fair enough. I used to be a fan of those guys, but at the end of the day, I would rather us look at a midfielder than to get Semenyo. That's all I gotta say.
Remember when we sent Alvaro on loan and brought in Regulon?
Yeah.
Selling Kobe on loan or selling Kobe and bringing Gallagher is the same thing we do.
Agreed.
Yeah, Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to get some comments real quick and I want to move on to the next point, right? So Chef saying here, I feel Amorim does watch the podcast. How much years we begging for this man, and we talk about Martinez, to play in midfield, right? The thing about it is, in Amorim's system, the centre back was the midfielders, so
yeah,
right. He's saying here, I'm so unconvinced by Amorim on this team right now. The jury definitely still out on him. I think the jury don't come back with the verdict already, yes?
True.
Saying here, Dan, we talk about basics, and all he doing is break up and recycling the ball. Things you got to say Casemiro cannot do on the regular. It's embarrassing, right? Verhinathan, I don't know if I pronounced that correct, right? 735. Good night. Thanks for joining. Saying here, January, who many new players coming. All right. Midfield problem, experience, centre back needed. All right. Thanks for the comments.
I think we have Maguire. We have Maguire and we have Dillon. I think we need more experience on that.
Well, not until next season. Not until next season, perhaps.
Yes.
All right, but I definitely want a next centre back like a Gehi or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So we want to talk about Bruno Fernandes, the player, a very controversial player.
Yeah, boy.
You know, but we all saw Bruno pull up in the game. That was a real weird thing. But this is what the manager had to say just now. 1 second on that. All right, sorry about that. Right, so the manager had to say on Bruno's injury, it's a soft tissue, so it's going to take a while. And normally hamstring injuries or laters take some time, right? A couple of weeks. Well, we will see. And Amorim is the type that does be very, very vague when it comes to injuries. He don't say much because look at the Lit. It was something minor, and Lit had played 100 games, right? So. I mean, but then again, Bruno is some kind of cyborg, so Bruno could bounce back and play. Yeah, Bruno could bounce back and play come Boxing Day. You know how Bruno is healed, right? But I mean, guys, how much of with this Bruno injury, what does it mean for Amorim's Manchester United? JP?
Well, I just the way Amorim looked when he realized what was going on with Bruno, and the fact that Bruno didn't come off one time, it shows you what Bruno is to this team. That the man was even hesitant to pull Bruno off when the world knew that was it for Bruno game. It goes to show you how much the team is centered on Bruno. So I don't know. I concerned because it's not to say we have a Amadu you could sort in at the 10, well in that position to kind of play like that role. It's not to say but we don't know about Kobe. So now we're in a position where the midfield that role that Bruno's played.
I think Kobe's out. I think Kobe's out to the new year. I think so.
Well, yeah, according to if we want to believe if it's something that really happened or not, but yeah, um, but yeah, it's like what we gotta know because Bruno has been doing what Bruno does in terms of putting out the numbers and the assists and the goals. So it's kind of a concern now because it's either that or we're going to see the possibility of what a team without Bruno could really look like. And that could be something interesting as well. If we have to play a few games without Bruno and see what the system could look like if a player play next to Casemiro and actually stay closer to him, we might actually see something different in the system that might look, who knows, even a little better.
You see, my thing with this whole Bruno thing is the team, and I'm not sure if this should happen, but the team has become so reliant on Bruno,
Yeah.
where Bruno could do anything he wants. You know, you get the ball. If Bruno free, you gain Bruno the ball. Bruno could be back in defense, you know.
Yeah, they're
And
fine.
he's swinging that ball back for you. We saw, you know, everything has to go through Bruno Fernandes. It's like when you lost your brain box, you know, it's like you're just a shell, you know, and the type of player that Bruno is, the managers, I don't know if they do it, you know, without, you know, subconsciously, but the team plays to suit Bruno's strengths. This is why, in my opinion, in the second half, when Cunha tried to be the main player, it was almost looking as though Cunha was overdoing it.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to take the team on his shoulder, he wanted to carry the ball forward, he wanted to do everything. But the team not built to carry the ball like that. The team more built to make runs in behind and Bruno looking for you, and then you however. But Cunha, on the other hand, is the type that will take the ball from midfield, run with 6 men on his back, and get followed or shoot from half field. You know? So the team looked that, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, the team just looked so lost when Bruno not there, because all the programming from what I see over the years is Bruno. Bruno is like Bruno is sitting in the tactical technical meetings with the coaches. So he know exactly what how to do when the game starts. And everybody else there, hey, your job is to get the ball to Bruno.
My man Fresh Prince.
Pass the ball to Will.
Pass it to Will.
And then you're my Carlton shoot. Yo, Prince.
So for me, this is where it becomes a little bit concerning. Right now, we could figure something out. Right, we could figure something out, but still to figure something out, it needs time to roll out. You know. So I really don't know. I am not you know, positive about what he go figure out, because a year and Amarim figure out nothing yet. So what he gonna figure out without a talisman? You know, Nico?
Yeah, to me, unfortunately, Mino unavailable, you know, because the talk was Mino, you know, not playing because of Bruno, he playing in Bruno position. And to me, this definitely was a perfect opportunity for Mino to show his quality from the start of the game, you know, and it was real unfortunate he didn't start or he wasn't available against Villa, you know, because I was really looking forward to him because we know Casemiro was out. But yeah, I think that was a miss. because I have from the last few games of Meno, I have seen a bit of confidence when he came on. And I've been honest, before he came on and you're seeing like maybe the talk, with the manager,
But
maybe it was
Nico,
affecting his confidence. Go
where you
ahead, go
feel that
ahead.
confidence? Where you feel that confidence come from?
I don't know where.
The fans, not the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Every
definitely I
time
wasn't
Kobe
saying
walk onto that field, the fans cheer
Yeah,
our
they
man
know.
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Agreed. So and that is what I was really looking forward to Meno playing. I was looking forward to him playing against Villa because he really, really, really looked confident on the ball, playing balls forward. They couldn't take the ball off him on the midfield with 2-3 men around him. Was really, really, really good. I was really looking forward to that. But then, unfortunately, injured. A real poor timing. At the same time, I think Bruno picked up a real good form. I think Bruno was in good form the last couple of games. So I must give him that as much as I look at the play going through Bruno, however Amarin set it up. I think it was working attacking wise. So I think it's like two players unfortunately we definitely gonna miss, right? But unfortunately for me, I really wanted to get this opportunity. How the team is gonna set up now, same thing Wally was saying in terms of Cunha would have been trusted or forced now to become the talisman against Villa, and we saw that he was doing too much. Right? He was doing a little too much. And I hope that, during this week at training that, the team could be or play more as a team now with Amarin getting into Cunha and saying, hey, you don't have to do everything. This is what I want you to do. Yes, maybe have more responsibility now attacking wise, but don't overdo it. We're gonna play as a team. Get it into Cunha head that hey, we're gonna play as a team, and that is what I'm looking forward to for the next game.
Yeah. Phil, I know you want to jump in on your best friend, Bruno Fernandez.
Obviously, I would never wish injury on a player, but this was an opportunity for Kobe Manu, and unfortunately, he also is injured as well too, right? Um, it's funny because I don't want to say it's funny. It's kind of ironic, and it's when Bruno Fernandez had an interview with Rio Ferdinand, right? This was prior the Aston Villa game. And, he said he's always available. He's always fit and what's not. And then lo and behold, he comes and pulls up with a hamstring injury, which could take about 3 to 4 weeks to heal, and then 2 weeks of rehab, right? So at minimum, Bruno will be out for 4 to 5 weeks, right? So if treated properly, sorry.
Phil, that's a normal player. Bruno come back in 2 weeks, right? Bruno's a cyborg boy.
Boy, if treated properly, because you don't want to rush back Bruno, right? But anyway, I personally am intrigued, and a lot of players will get exposed. And I say that because I want to see who on this team has a football brain, if they can think for themselves now. Because as you guys said in the last 10 minutes, give the ball to Bruno, give the ball to Will, right? I want to see who has a football brain. I want to see who can think one of 3 ways, or who can think 3 ways in terms of how to pass the football when it comes to decision making, right? Because some of these players were a bit shy and timid to express themselves because Bruno was on the field, right? Now that Bruno is unfortunately injured, some of these players will get exposed, or some of these players will actually start to play their own football. If I had to choose a midfield to attack going forward, it would be, and it's just me, right? Now, it will either be Lisandro Martinez in midfield and possibly either Mount or Casemiro, right? Now, if it's not if it's not Casemiro, it's Mount. Because right now with Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez, that's a bit too defensive, right? So let's say I go with Lisandro Martinez and Casemiro, right? I will then go up top with Xerxes, Cunha, and Sesko. Another player that has not given me the wow factor as yet, right? But I am patiently waiting for Sesko to hit the ground running, right? So I think with Bruno out, and unfortunately Kobe, some players will now have to think for themselves, right? Because default was give the ball back to Bruno, and then Bruno does what Bruno does, right? So how many more games we have for the year? We got 1 or 2? We got 2 games left for the year, right? So let's see how these players are going to. I want to see how Amorim is going to switch up the system, because, in my opinion, Ugarte and Casemiro in the midfield, that's asking for trouble. That is just asking for a disaster. Imagine Ugarte and Casemiro versus like Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali and Joelinton. Not going to work out. Sorry. So, speedy recovery, Bruno. But I think this is the time now to see what Manchester United players are made of and if they have a high IQ, right? That's just me.
Yeah. And that was a good segue there, because we want to look ahead to Newcastle on Boxing Day. So I think, Phil, you would have given your setup. How you guys think Amorim would set up? Would he finally revert to a back four? And I'm not talking about like a hybrid back four. I'm talking about an actual back four. I think he will stick with the 3 at the back, because this Newcastle team is a strong team, especially midfield. They're very dominant in midfield. And losing such a key figure as Bruno, what kind of changes you could foresee Amorim making to because we're playing at home. What kind of changes you see him making to represent himself and try to win the game. Nico?
Yeah, they are tough one, mate. It's really a tough one. I don't know, but because just as we doesn't know the performance we're gonna get, we don't know the team we're gonna put out, and I feel like I've been foolish even trying to to think about that team we're gonna put out. I don't know, but this is how the performance is. You never know where we're gonna get. Same way. What we can do, I don't even know either. Because this has to be that quandary. I think he had definitely figured it out. I am unable to really guess, because it have. I mean, he could actually he might even put Mount in midfield. No, that was telling you. There's a possibility he could put Mount in midfield.
And that's what I was heading to.
Yeah.
But that difficult one. It's difficult. I pass on this one. I pass it. JP, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, JP.
I'm not going to try and predict what Amorim going to do, because he going to play the back 3. We know this. He going to play a back 3 no matter what, and he going to find a way to play that back 3. Dogo and Dalo will play. He will probably play Mount next to Casemiro. And then he will have to throw in Xerxes from his start with Cunha and Sesko on top. I think that's what he will do. What I would like to see possibly is a back 4, Dalo and you have Dogo on the other side, probably with the 2 in the middle is a tough one, but he will play Shaw regardless, and he probably might stick with Heaven and give Euro a little rest. If that is the case, and the midfield, I would have go with the defensive midfield with Casemiro and Martinez, you know, I would have played Casemiro and Martinez in my midfield because that Newcastle midfield does run at you. So it's better to go defensive against them. On top, I would have go with Xerxes, Mount, Cunha, and Sesko. So like a 4-2-3-1 kind of thing. And Mount is a player that's drop back. So you could always create more numbers in your midfield and play like a 4-3-3 sometimes with Mount in that team and nicely set up. Go with your full team and then make you say subs after that.
You know, one thing that who is it? Is it Anthony Gordon? One thing Anthony Gordon is known for is cutting in on his right foot and shooting.
Yeah.
Now, I hope Anthony Gordon doesn't score on us, but let's just say he does. I hope it's not that type of goal. Why?
Because Harvey Barnes are that clean too.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes does the exact same thing as well. So Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes, right? Let's just say they score on us. I hope it's not that type of goal because we would have learned from the Aston Villa game. We wouldn't, right? And then that's where I'll be pissed, right? But Newcastle technically isn't in that good of a form. They aren't. But lo and behold, neither are we. And we're playing a Newcastle game.
Form out the window when they play Man United. Form out the window. Form out the window.
Form out the window when you play Man United at home too.
Yeah.
Because our form at home is atrocious.
Yeah. But I like the song of that 4-2-3-1 JP in terms of trying to match Newcastle in midfield, you know, and then having some ball retention from Zirkzee in the 10, and then you have Sesko to stretch, you know, the defensive line with his movement and that aerial threat. You know, the frustrating thing is we just don't play to Sesko strengths, you know. You know, and funnily enough, somebody was saying with the two chances that Man United get, the two good chances that we get that we didn't score, the wrong player, if the reverse players were there, you know, we might have fared better. If Cunha did get the chance Sesko miss. And if Sesko get the header that Cunha miss, I think we'd be talking about two well taken goals.
You know, a man told me today that if we still had Scott McTominay, he would have scored them.
Come, don't make us say that, please.
I look at my phone and then I throw my phone on my and I went along.
Talk about McTominay. I should say McTominay. But so Nico, I hear what you're saying. It's hard to predict what Amorim gonna do, you know. But you just know that he's stubborn and he gonna find a way to play that 3-4-3. He gonna find a way to play that 3-4-3, you know. And we gonna have to sit down and grind through that game because we just know that Newcastle better. I remember the game we played them last year. I think that's the game when Xerxes get injured. We run them for a while, but it just knew the inevitable was that they were going to score and we were going to lose. And again, the same feeling. You know, we will start, you know, hot and sweaty as normal. And Newcastle go just ride we out and then the quality go show. You know? It's unfortunate that this is where we at. But what I do also feel is that, you know, the excuse of not having the African Cup of Nations players and then Bruno out, I don't want that to be an excuse all year. You know? We all right, you can't cater for injuries, right? But we knew that them three fellas was leaving. We knew that, right? And Nico, I remember when we were talking after we signed Mbumo, Nico said, if we don't sign a midfielder, them fellas are going to look good. The team will still get skin out. You know, so I'm saying, and 17 games in, we in December, the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
So the planning in terms of how we was building this squad, I really had a question how well thought out that was because we didn't prioritize I think the areas that really needed attention. You know, so we're going into our next game where we don't know what we're going to get. You know, I don't think there's much optimism from the fan base, and for me, it's more about just damage control. And let me just try to leave there without conceding. I remember let me going with a plan to just not get beat up. That is all I'm saying. You understand? And I'm sad to know that we there's where we at. And probably Jody might be proud because he'll always tell me come down from there, you know? So just get these two comments, guys, and a little rapid, right? So Eric saying here, ton of Xerxes to Roma. Rumors, I think we should keep Xerxes and sell Ugarte. Right? No, we can't afford to sell nobody.
Yeah.
Right? Darren on the inside, good night to you, man. Saying keep up the good work. Thanks very much, buddy. You know, he said doesn't watch live all the time, but all it does help me out the traffic anymore. In Amram, we trust, yes. This run of games will show us a lot, yeah, definitely. Because I think, as I said before, I think we play Newcastle, Arsenal, City in this run of games, right? So, and I think Brighton in the FA Cup, and this is the period that we don't have them guys, you know. So, yeah, it could be a tough one. It could show us a lot. Not that we don't already know plenty, right? So, Javid on the inside, thanks for joining, man. Just passing through. What Ugarte doing all this time? Getting worse.
To be honest, I don't find Ugarte was that bad. I give maybe the standard, maybe what we expected. Maybe how bad he was previously, but I was expecting worse from him. To be honest, I was expecting worse, and I was like, all right, wasn't too bad.
The team set up to help him because if I don't realize, this is the same complaints we were having years ago when we were talking about who that was, boy. When it was Fred, when we had Fred alone trying to play the whole midfield and cover all the ground in midfield. And just the other day when Casemiro was looking terrible, as Casemiro uses experience and start to play differently, and that's why we're talking about him differently now and then. But there's the same thing happening to Ugarte in this team. Ugarte have to do all the work for these three midfielders in covering all the ground there. He had no help. So he must look bad in this team.
But on top of that too, right? When you're playing a midfield too, you're expecting both midfielders to be good on the ball.
To be able to play.
To be able to play football. Ugarte game is not to play football. Ugarte game is to
break up the play and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this team was built for a 3 in midfield, not 2.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, I think we at the end of the pod, right? I had some optimism last week. I don't know if Phil remember when I was talking about the possibility of what we could do, with the absence of the AFCON players. But now with Bruno, possibly out for a little while, that's just diminishing, And Amram did say last season, he made a comment that, we were in a similar situation last season with injuries and we came through, So let's see. There's no real hope or expectation, We're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Any closing thoughts at all, fellas, before we end?
So let me get this straight. We on the pod can see the defects of this team, and you can see the positives of this team. Common sense will tell you put the positives first and put the defects afterwards, because you're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, expecting the same result. And that's the definition of insanity, right? Let's be real. If we can get through these next couple of games unscathed, and then we have our players from AFCON back and Bruno back and Kobe back, I will be so surprised. I would be surprised. But that's just me being realistic and not negative, okay?
All right. I hear you. Guys, we've come to the end of the pod. So for those in the comments, those who were viewing, we do appreciate you all for staying on till the end. Phil, Nico, JP, guys, it was good. It was good to have JP and Nico back on the pod. We know how the schedules is be. But guys, we'll be here again on Tuesday. It's Tuesday or Friday? Friday for the Newcastle game. And guys, we guys hope for the best, right? I ain't gonna, think put no water in my mouth.
But we show here Friday, well, Friday is Boxing Day. I'm sure real people so they can make Friday.
Well, if we had to do Saturday, we could do Saturday,
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody on the pod and everybody in the comment section has a great Christmas, a great holiday season. Eat a lot, drink responsibly.
Yes, for sure. So guys, have a Merry Christmas. Godspeed and enjoy. And we go bounce up for the Newcastle review. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Good night.